Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Hannah Perkey. I'm CEO of Evelo team with Keller Williams Realty, and I am joined by Bob Woerner, one of our vice presidents of sales, and we are going to update you on what's happening in the real estate market here in Central Indiana. So we'll jump right in. We like to keep these short and sweet and get you the facts. So Bob, tell me what happened in the local housing market in January.
Yeah, like you said, we'll just dive right in. So we've been doing this for, it's hard to believe, but like 4 years now, I think is when I looked back at pulling materials together for this one. So first up is that median sales price for our market. So end of January, that ended at 275. That was down a little bit from December, but up over last year. I think the year over year is a little bit better than the month over month comparison, but we got both of them there. So still on an uptick. We have those ebbs and flows as we go through the year. Next up, I think there's a couple interesting ones in here this month. This is kind of our average and our median days on market. So the top number here, that's the average. So that was at 57. And the median down here, which is probably a little bit more relevant, was 32. The thing I found most interesting is that was down 13% year over year. So we had seen that going up, and we're seeing that come back down a little earlier than what we did last year. So that's one interesting. This is another one, that month's supply of inventory. So again, a balanced market being about a 4 to 6 month supply of inventory. We've been operating kind of between 1 and 2 over most of 2023. So we were at 2.2 months supply of inventory for January. Again, I found this a little bit more interesting. That was down almost 25% over last year in January, which could lead to some trends about what the spring market might be like. The last one in this kind of initial batch is that percent of list price received. So you'll see if we go back a couple years, we got up to 103, 104% on average. For pretty much all of 2023, we were under 100%, but we've still been up there in that 97, 98 range, and that's where we were for this month, ending up at 97.2.
Okay, awesome. Interesting data. All right. So we're kind of talking about that with the spring market and shifting, right? So we keep coming on these calls and we're like, hey, here's some signs of shifting. So what are the additional items that you've been looking at to track the shifting market?
Yeah, so not quite as long, but going back probably at least a year now, we just started tracking a few more things just to kind of give us some of those indications about what the upcoming year might be like, how one quarter might end leading into another quarter. So the first one up is active inventory. So I feel like this one's been a bit of a broken record for the last year. We're down a lot, 3,737 active homes at the end of January. That's down 24.5% year over year and down 20% month over month, right? So less homes to sell. That's what kind of creates that inventory shortage. So we seem to be headed straight back into low inventory again without a big change in sight. Next up is the closed sales each month. So January, we had just a little over 1,700 units sold in our market. That was down 24% month over month, but that was up just a teeny tiny bit from last January. So about even in terms of closed sales. We'll see how that plays out. The number of new listings, obviously, again, the new ones that come on the market, that's what one of those leading indicators of what that inventory might be like. So 2250 almost, which was up month over month, which is kind of expected. December can be a slow month for new listings coming out of the Thanksgiving holiday and into all the December holidays. But that was down 2.3% over last year. And the last one up that we kind of started taking a look at, along with that average list to sales price ratio, we kind of have become curious to know how many homes are closing for above list price, right? Because that equation is really driven by location and price point. Is really what's going to drive, are we paying list price, above list price, or below list price? Because we still are seeing a lot of homes go into multiple offers, a lot of homes sell for over list price, but there's a lot of asterisk or conditions on that. So overall, we had 12.2% of the homes in January sold for over list price. That was down about 6.8% over last month and down 8.5% over last year. So some interesting pieces of data there to kind of give us an early indication of what the spring market might look like.
And I think shifting is such a good statement, right? Because people will ask, well, how's the market? I'm like, well, this house may be sold for over asking price with 4 offers, and this one had no showing. So I think that's your data is showing what we're filling out on a week to week basis with our sellers and our buyers, right? That it depends right now, because it's a little bit of both as it transitions. So great info. All right. So let's talk interest rates first, because people always want to know interest rates. So if I said, what's it going on right now versus last month, what's happening?
Yeah, so we always try to take a look at that as well. So we just look at this primary mortgage market survey that comes out every week. So this is for data ending 2/1, taking a 5-year look back. So last week, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage ended at 6.63. And when we did this last month, we were literally at 6.67 or 6.66. So we're basically right around the same. It's just kind of going up and down a little bit, but on a bigger trend, it's down, right? If we go back to like last fall, late summer, we were above 7%. We got above close to 8% in some cases. Obviously, interest rates vary a lot based on credit score and a whole bunch of other factors. So there were definitely loans out there above 8% last year. So we are, we've lost a good half point or more since then, and we seem to kind of be on a little bit of a downward trend and should be for most of 2024. That's not going to fall out, right? We're not going back to a 3% or a 3.5% interest rate anytime soon, but some of the pundits out there predict we could see some fives this year. We'll see if we get there. But even if we stay in the sixes, that's quite a bit of relief of where we've been the last couple of years.
And I know we've talked about this, but I'm like, it's always perspective. I think my first mortgage was like 5.25%, and I thought that was the best percentage ever, right? And so I think that our rates are not bad right now. We continue to say there's always the option to refinance, right? So it's not a concern on what it is today, but just being aware of what's happening in the market.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what about any final thoughts about the state of the market that you want to share before we wrap up today?
Yeah, we always try to end with something. Obviously, as we get out of January and February started, a lot of people thinking spring is a great time to sell their home. So whether you think you might sell in 15 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, it's kind of never too early to get started. Obviously, if we have the chance to meet together in person, we have a little bit more extensive list of some of the things you can do to prep your home for listing. Happy to share that, obviously, in comments or offline as well. But this is just kind of a consolidated version of it, right? Getting your home ready to sell. Certainly some things you could do now. And it does make a difference, right? You can definitely tell a difference when representing a buyer and you walk in those homes that I kind of put air quotes on this. They look like they've been lived in well, right? And things are just a little rougher around the edges. And they just, honestly, they just don't present as well. And buyers react to that, right? So these are pretty simple things, not like come in and transform your whole house, but right, make it inviting, open the curtains and blinds, fix anything that's broken, kind of give every room a purpose, showing that it's well cared for, right? We just kind of covered that one a little bit. Simple things like things we never do, right? Clean all your vents, your return air vents, your ductwork, your baseboards, declutter throughout, touch up any scuffs, maybe give a fresh coat of paint to everything. And then the last one we might have to wait a little bit for here in good old Indiana when we've got the winter, not winter, winter, not winter, but getting outside, cleaning up a bit, tidying up that landscaping, maybe put a fresh coat of paint on the door, switch that up a little bit, just anything you can do to kind of boost the curb appeal. So just a little quick set of items you might be able to get started with if you're thinking about selling sometime this spring.
Love it. That's great. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Like we said, we like to be mindful of your time and get you the facts that you need to know if you are looking into the real estate market and thinking about decisions you might be wanting to do in 2024. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to us, call or text 317-863-9011, or we're answering our email all the time at info@eveloteam.com. And if you're watching this on social or via a email, you can respond back or message us to that social platform. Thanks so much, and we hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.